church. This is Pastor Mary. I'm sitting out at our pond here just outside of Knoxville, and today's been an exciting day. We started moving into the parsonage, so we'll continue that tomorrow, taking more of the heavy stuff up. And it's kind of a lovely evening. I'm going to show you there's a little bug there. I'm going to show you the pond where I'm sitting so you can kind of see that. Maybe I'll be quiet a minute and see if you can hear the birds. So there you go. So anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself as we get started. It's kind of an interesting time to start because we've been having so much trouble in our country. We've had the racial problems that have bubbled up again. Now, obviously, racial discrimination has been around a long time, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story. I have 4 brothers. My oldest brother is a lawyer in Ohio, and he's 4 years older than me. My second brother unfortunately died of lung cancer about 3 years ago. My third brother lives in Monterey Bay, California. And my fourth brother, my younger brother, he's 11 years younger than me. He is an African-American man who lives in a group home outside of Los Angeles. When I was 12 years old, my parents adopted him, and he was 1, and that was in 1970. And I guess in a certain way that began my journey with understanding race relations and what's going on in the world regarding that. My parents were very active in the civil rights movements, well, from the time they were in college and then all the way through the 50s and 60s. And so as a kid, we had a lot of relationships with Black families. My father had many Black clergy friends, and I spent a number of Sunday afternoons as a child in the Black churches of Los Angeles, and I had that experience. But probably when my parents adopted my younger brother was when I became more fully aware of some of the racial discrimination that goes on. Where I lived in a suburb of Long Beach, California, there was a lot of redlighting, and it was just a really interesting experience to have as a teenager growing up in the 70s, and my younger brother being African American. There weren't very many biracial families back then, and so I came to experience the world in a different way than I think a lot of white people were. So I have some history, personal history, of understanding racial discrimination, what that means for people. Now, I think that all white people have little understanding in a certain way of what it is to be a person of color. I think we just cannot understand because we don't have that dramatic experience that people of color in this country have. So I had some experience in terms of my family and growing up and what that led me to understand, and the things I've come to believe, the things I believe about God, the things I believe about what's called upon for us as people to be people of God, to be reaching out to people who are discriminated against, to try to change culture so that the culture that we're living is a culture that reflects God's great love for all of us. I think that we need to be attentive to the ways in which other people's voices get silenced so that we can learn to listen. We can set our preconceptions aside, that we can listen to somebody else who's coming from experiences that we need to hear about and we need to know about, and we're more enriched by listening. And so I'm hoping as we go forward, and as our country's going forward, that we can kind of adapt our ministry to open ourselves to the experience of Black Americans and other persons of color, to teach us what we need to know about what it is to be a human being in this country, what it is to be a Black American in this country, maybe what it is to be a Hispanic American, what it is to be other than white, because the culture is so defined by being white. And I think as we do that, as we listen, as we learn, as we adjust our thoughts, I really think our hearts will enlarge. And I think our awareness of God's great love for each one of us will also enlarge. So that's kind of where I'm at tonight, what I'd like to share with you tonight, that little bit about me. I'm really looking forward to being with you. I think we're going to have a great time. I hope we have a great time. I'm a person that enjoys working hard. I'm a person that enjoys having fun at work and with other people, to experience the joy of life. Because sometimes life is really hard, and I think to bear it well and to understand the grace that's always with us, it's really important to try and also enjoy ourselves and to understand that the world is a blessed place and an amazing place and filled with possibilities. So I'm looking forward to having that journey with you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.